So many years ago, I learned something about the memory power system, um, and just really want to come straight to the point and why um, I end up kind of using it and what was the benefit out of that. So the memory power system, which one of my friend told me that if you are struggling to remember stuff, I think this could be a great way to remember, because during my graduation and my master's, really had to remember a lot of stuff. So I was thinking, what should I be doing? Is there any system in place which I could use? And in back of my mind, there was like one guy a long time ago. He told me about that. There is a system, so system of visualization which you can use, and you can actually remember a lot of stuff. And I thought, okay, well, I want to give it a shot, and I really was desperate to have that book in my hand and find any information I could. This was so many years ago. So what I end up doing was I end up learning that system. I end up learning how to kind of use that system. So which was working with peg words. So the technique on this one is basically very simple. So what you have to do is basically you have to visualize what you want to remember. So it's a link system. There are three ways of using it. One is a link system, and one is a peg word system. So there are basically two techniques that comes under this one, but basically the overall method is same. So let's say you're talking about the link system. So if you want to remember, let's say, a couple of items in a certain sequence, this method will basically allow you to do it. Let's say that I have to remember the car, and the first object is car. Then I have to remember the second object as a cat. Third object is something like a book, something of that sort. I would really want to demonstrate to you one of the first example on the link system. So when I was thinking about a car in the first object itself, then I was thinking, okay, there are like hundreds of cats sitting in my car. So that seems like a very ridiculous relationship, and it's easy to visualize this one as well, because it's very funny, and you feel like, okay, why want to have like thousands of cats in my car? Why want to do that? And then what it basically does is it will allow your brain to remember it faster. More the relationship is ridiculous or funny or something which is not normal, your brain has like much easy access to that information, easy to remember that thing. So this is what this is based on. So like what I'm talking about is just try to visualize this one and see like what I'm talking about. So third thing I did talk about is a book. Third object so then I think about, okay, so in the mouth of my cat there are so many books coming out. So think about that. Your cat's mouth is not a printer or like, producing a paper or something. If you're thinking about books coming out of your cat's mouth, it's easy I can basically see that. You should be able to see that as well. And this is the whole principle this whole technique is based on. So you can remember numbers, you can remember telephones, you can remember like certain sequence of words what you want to present, or anything like which you need, like if you're taking any course or anything, like you can basically take advantage of that technique. You can basically use it. So the second technique is basically using peg words. So initially it says that there is a little bit of work in case of peg words. So what it does is basically help you to remember. Again, the first way in the link system, what I said, like the technique is same. So in the peg words, why I really like the peg word system a lot, because you really have to remember 0 to 9 sequence of words. Like just put any sequence of the words. Like for me, like first thing is tie, then number 1 is tie, number 2 is Noah is a ship, and then number 3 is like mom, like number 4 is law, number 4 is array, and then number 5 is law, number 6 is shoes, number 7 is cow, number 8 is ivy, like that's just like number of bees, like where the bees sit in, right? And number 9 I forgot the object name, but you can have any object in your mind. So basically you can use that. So yeah, so let's say we're trying to remember that. So now you have the sequence, right? That's like in the second method of I was talking about. Let's say that you have to remember a word, like let's say that you want to remember the house, and first subject was tie, the tie which you wear. So you can remember, like, there are so many ties attached to your house outside the building, which is not normal, and that's what we want to do actually. So, and let's say the second object you want to remember is tree. So in my peg word system, the second one I did talk about was what was the second one? I forgot about that. First one was tie, second one was Noah. Yes, second one was Noah. So let's say I want to remember Noah. So Noah is a ship, right? So Noah is my peg word already. So if you need to remember, let's say you want to remember let's say tree. So the ship, think about so many big trees are coming out of one ship, which does not happen in normal circumstances. It's not possible for that to happen, but you're thinking about that it's coming out of a big ship. So basically what it allow you to do is remember the next word itself, which is tree. If let's say that number third object you want to remember is so in my word list it was like a mom. So like in the peg word itself, so you can just kind of say, if you want to remember the word like football, all right, so you can remember like, oh, your mom is holding tons of footballs and there's so many footballs she's throwing away and they're coming from nowhere. So you can have one of those things. So what that allow you to remember is the third word itself. No, because okay, I don't want to go like more into this one, like, but I just wanted to practice and just kind of think about what we did talk about. Let's say that you said you first remember the first word that you wanted to remember. What was that? So I will remind you my peg word list so you can remember what you want to remember. So my peg word was tie, right? So the first thing that comes to your mind is the house. Remember we did talk about like let's say you have so many ties around your house hanging, so something of that sort. We just kind of saw that before visually, right, in our brain's eye. So that's what you're trying to do, and that's what causes to remember anything you want to remember. And the same principle is used to remember names, same principle is used to remember different I would say that like course material or programs what you're learning. So you can actually make use of this one. Now think about the second peg word I did talk about. So the second peg word was like the one I kind of gave you was Noah. That was like the ship. So what do we recall from there? Like, remember we just talked about there's so many trees coming out of the ship. So the second word for you that you want to remember was tree. So now you can remember tree. So third thing, let's talk about that. And then that was my peg word was mom, and then we just kind of talked about it, and I was able to visually see that. So you should be able to see visually as well, and that's what the whole technique is based on. So let's say that you were talking about like the mom, and which was holding like so many footballs were coming. She was throwing away so many footballs. So your word that you want to remember was football. So this is a very simple technique. So I'm not sure how what I'm saying, how it like how much easier it is for yourself to understand, but for me it perfectly made sense when I was using the system for so many years during when I had to remember my study material, like for my documents and stuff like that, management stuff, all those different things. So I was using the system for a long time. So you should be able to use this one. So there are so many books in the course material available that you can just try and find out and make use of it. And I think that will, there are so many times like when you're at school and you really want to have some kind of additional kind of edge which you can make use of and kind of, you know, make your life much easier, you know. So sometimes you really have to remember stuff. What can you do that, right? So cramming is harder. This method is much easier. So I hope you guys like my video, and I'll try to produce more contents and subscribe to my channel. This is just my very humble attempt to just kind of produce what I know, and then will try to share a lot of information. But thank you so much for visiting my channel and seeing my contents, and really appreciate it. So I hope you like it, and this information will make it much easier, your life much more easier when you have need of like to recall or remember stuff. Thank you so much. Goodbye.